Happy Monday. Does it seem kind of dark in here? Is my camera changing? Hmm. So, oh, it is changing. I knew it's getting more colorful. So beautiful. Let me change my camera here. So, creativity. What else can I talk about creativity? I don't know. What haven't I covered about creativity and unlocking the self? Oh, yeah, that's right. Um, so Eckhart Tolle made a post yesterday. Thought it was really interesting on Facebook. He said, uh, you can't fall outside of time, because in case you guys don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, hopefully you know who Eckhart Tolle is if you are watching this channel. Uh, Spiritual leader, wrote Power of Now, amazing book. He was in a really bad state, right? He was like a bum, and he got to this point of enlightenment. It's like, hey, the only thing that really matters is right now. What am I doing? And so he wrote this whole book about how tomorrow doesn't matter, the next day doesn't matter. All that matters is the power of the moment and being still in the moment and being present. Um, and that's how you interact with people, right? I mean, like if you're not present when you're talking to somebody, then you're not listening to them. You're not able to converse and like take in whatever energy they're giving you and then giving them response. Uh, if you're a healer, we're always trying to heal each other, heal parts of the body. You're never going to be able to listen to what they need when they're providing their energy, right? So, I had a meeting with somebody this morning, and we were talking about this subject because he was Dr. Fred Bloom, awesome guy. I'm gonna meet up with him again. I'm gonna schedule a meeting here pretty soon. Uh, anyway, he had to go because a friend of his that his wife had just gone over under open heart surgery, so he was going to go meet his friend, and we were getting along so well because we were talking about this subject. Uh, it's all about creativity and how you're healing yourself from the inside out. Um, and as long as you're creating things for other people, the vice uh, and the other version of that, where you see all these yogi masters, and kind of Taoist Buddhism is, you get into this meditative state where you're in a state of bliss, but you get to where you're not doing anything, and so this body just kind of shrivels in, and then you're not doing anything. You're not creating anything anymore, right? You're not creating at all. I want you to understand that you can co-create this reality. Then it engages you in it and it heals you from the inside out. And then it's a combination of being mindful and creating from your heart space for the people around you. Anyway, we were talking about how we're accessing this reality. There's so much stuff that we talked about. It was an excellent conversation. I think we were feeding off each other in a lot of ways. It's important to have those one-on-one conversations about how you're taking in from other people and then giving to other people. Amazing conversation. And then, anyway, we were talking about how you can get to higher states of consciousness, but if you're not creating anything, then you're not engaging into life. And you detach, and a lot of the reason behind a lot of that Taoist Buddhism is they detach from this reality because it feels like everybody else out there is doing their thing, but if you can't really create the reality that you want out there for the people that you love, then it pulls you away from them, if that makes sense, right? You're not creating something for them. And that's where those religions came from, right? I mean, they kind of pull into, oh, I'm in enlightenment, but, in detachment, and now I'm detached from everything, but I'm not moving anymore. And so it reminded me of what Eckhart Tolle was talking about, where the doing never gets you to the place outside of time, where you're always outside of time. But at the same time, uh, you don't want to fall out of doing completely, because the reality is your state of mind determines what you do, right? And if you can be outside of time, it will determine what you do. And what can you create? What can you create for yourself? And I thought about this morning because I didn't get that much sleep last night. I was creating something else late last night, and I fell asleep late. Got up, almost missed my meeting with Fred, and I really didn't want to miss my meeting with Fred, because Fred was somebody I could tell somebody I want to talk to. And so I was like, should I go back to sleep? I don't know. Am I tired? A little strung out, but my creative energy, I mean, I could tell I had this blossoming creative energy within me. I really need to release. And I realized that I could create whatever state of mind I wanted to. I went ahead and laid down, and I meditated for a while, and just allowed to see what I was feeling. And I was just in this very super high vibrational state. Like, right? Like, almost like hovering above the bed. Trying to think, okay, where can I direct this energy? And I just fell into the dream state a little bit and had some really interesting dreams. It was all creative in nature. I watched, it reminds me, there was an old movie that I watched a while back, Pandorum, if you guys ever seen it. It's a horror movie. And if you think about it, most movies, especially science fiction movies, something that somebody creates from out of their imagination is really reflective of the human condition and how we're advancing in consciousness. How our own advancement in consciousness triggers the environment around us to elevate at the same time. So it's a story about this ship that leaves Earth to go to another planet, to have another planet. And it crashes in the ocean of the planet it's supposed to be at, but nobody realizes that. The guy that was running the ship goes crazy. It's played by Dennis Quaid. And so they're all trapped in this vessel together, not realizing that there's this oasis right above their head. And so since they're all trapped in this thing together and they don't realize that there's this oasis that they can go to, they start feeding on each other. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you guys. But it was so similar to what this whole story is. It's all about not feeding on your environment, thinking negatively about it, but just creating for it. You know, what is it that you can create for it to free it up, to enable it to be more creative, right? Because whatever you're creating, if it is enabling its everything else to become more creative and free itself, then that's what we're doing. That's a healing process, right? That's how you heal everything. Yeah. To unlock everybody's creativity. Because that's how we stop using the same old junk, right? Get out all these old cars burning on oil and blah. Right? I mean, there's so much stuff that we can create together. All you have to do is believe. It's all about faith. Whether or not you believe, you can create whatever it is that you want to create. Whether or not you believe you can create the life that you want to create for yourself. If you don't believe you can do that, then you're going to be stuck in some kind of pain point. It's a pain point. It's a pain you're trying to get out of. It's like, what's the limits of my creation? You have none. Your creative energy is limitless. As long as you can create heaven on earth for yourself and then teach other people how to do that. That was Jesus' whole story, right? It's like, hey, look, this is how you do it. Follow me. I'll make you fishers of men, because he knew how to do it. Did it for himself. aha moments. Love you guys. What else are we gonna look at here? What are the cards gonna tell us today? What? Oh, possible. I know that one. Walk your truth. I had that one before. I'm always constantly doing that, right? What's next? Emotions. Oh. This is emotions are interesting. Emotions will tell you, what how you're feeling, what you need to deal with, and also how you feel about other people. Um, I love everybody, but it gets easier when you get into higher states. When you're in your creative energy all the time, it gets a lot easier to feel where other people's blockages are because in some way they might be trying to feed off of you in some way. And I really enjoyed visiting with Fred this morning because he was happy that we connected, and he admitted that his sales tactic because he was trying to sell me a service on LinkedIn, right? Somebody told him, he's like, yeah, well, the message you're using probably isn't that great, because he was very direct, very to the point, and I was a little bit taken back when I got his message, and so um, I said, um, well, it's like, how much does it cost? He's like, oh, that's just the thing, we could talk, and it doesn't have to cost you anything. I was, okay. So I visited with him for 45 minutes this morning, and we're just gonna connect again because I was like, hey, you want to hear about my creative project? Maybe we can, create together. Because to be perfectly honest, none of us will need money. Will go away as soon as people realize all we're here to do is create together, and you stop, and then all those old things that we had in the past will go away. They'll go bye bye. All these phones, these dysfunctional phones. These things are bleh. We can come up with something better than this, right? Something that doesn't feel like needs to draw you in. Of course, it's all a state of mind. If you feel like you need to pull yourself into something, nothing can pull you into it if you don't let it. As soon as you master yourself, right? But at the same time, we're gonna stop creating stuff like that. Stuff that's healthy for our environment, right? And healthy for us, and healthy for our children, because we don't want to, subject somebody who isn't self-aware yet when they're first, when they're first growing to things that pull them in to get them out of their creative energy. We don't want to do that. It's yucky, right? Love you guys, right? How can you create for each other? Create the type of energy for the people around you that makes them feel alive and more creative, and what is it that you can do for each other that makes them feel like they can create for other people and enable that in other people so that we can create something cool, right? Become a kid again, and at the same time become adult and be responsible for yourself and teaching other people on how to do that, right? It doesn't have to be about money. It has to be about, and the money will come. You just have to have faith, and then your faith will make you whole. Just stay in your creative energy and stay intact with the community, right? Love you guys. Have a great day.